Don Bluth made a few films. This one is, it's not the worst or the best, it's just kind of there, isn't it? What do we do today? I'm glad you asked. What's up, guys? Proving that you can really make an animated film out of just about anything, Don Bluth decided in 1989 to make a film about a very Burt Reynolds-y dog, played by Burt Reynolds, who lies, cheats, steals, dies, goes to heaven because all dogs do. Oh, that's the title. I get it now. Then he lies, cheats, steals his way out of heaven, meaning he can never go back, lies, cheats, steals back on Earth, but likes a child, saves her life, and dies. Then he gets to go back to heaven. What the hell? This film doesn't make any sense. Basically, the lesson is you can be just the worst all your whole life, and as long as you just stay in heaven the first time, you're fine. Anyway, if this strange film ever got caught up in the current Disney live-action remake frenzy, why not? Because Lady and the Tramp did. Then this is the cast to do the job. Charlie B. Barkin is our Burt Reynolds-y lead, a shady dog who doesn't care about anybody or anything, but learns to in the end. Because having a lead character in an animated film be a jerk is... Actually, Don Bluth was probably one of the first people to do that in this one. Anyway, unfortunately, Burt Reynolds is not available to do the voice of Charlie again in any reboot, but I have a good idea for somebody else who may be able to do it. Ryan Gosling. Yeah, I know. He hasn't done a lot of animated voice work, because a lot of people consider him to have this quite monotone voice, but I don't really think that's true. I can make a lot of comparisons between Charlie's uncaring nature throughout the film, well, most of the film, and Gosling's character in some different films, especially La La Land. At the beginning, he's just this lone wolf, dog wolf, and he's really just looking out for himself. Now, Charlie's a step further down the road to evil than that, but it makes a lot of sense. Also, Gosling can horsing! Probably better than Burt Reynolds ever could. Next! Itchiford. Really? Oh, that's inventive, Don Bluth. He's Charlie's loyal sidekick, and yeah, no, that's all the character development he has. Wow, okay then. I think I've used Josh Gad a lot as the kind of sidekick in recent fan castings, so I'm going to stray away from that for once, and I'm going to say that as the fairly subservient, scared, itchy Adam Devine would be perfect. Devine has a very unique voice, well suited for voice acting. He's a great singer, and he's just a fantastic comedian. I've always thought he would flourish incredibly well in voice acting, and he finally proved that just recently with Netflix's Green Eggs and Ham. But I'm just shocked that he's never done anything before that. Next, Anne-Marie. Boy, she dumb. I have no idea. She's a little girl who can talk to animals, and nobody ever questions that or anything. That's just fine. That's solid. Sold. No explanation. It's fine. She's being held in a cage by Carface. Carface, we'll get to him. So she's always going to be pretty happy to go with Charlie and Itchy and help them win at gambling, because all the horses that do horse racing decide who's going to win the race beforehand. Every time. Moving on, I think Cameron Seeley would be great at this. You don't know her? What if I told you she was in The Greatest Showman? She was the lead in Christmas Break-In, and who am I kidding? Nobody saw Christmas Break-In. And she has tried her hand at voice acting in the most recent version of The Grinch as Cindy Lou. It's not relevant because she's the one character I have to cast that isn't voice acting, but it's fun. Next! Carface Caruthers. Just... Carface. Like Scarface. He's a gangster, obviously, that starts out as Charlie's partner and, shocker, betrays him and has him murdered. This is a dark film. But then he gets paid back when Charlie breaks out of heaven, and I feel like I'm high trying to describe this film. Anyways, a brutally evil, diabolical voice. I think Ron Perlman is the right man for the job. What, you don't think he's evil enough? But he's stupid. He's done characters like Deathstroke in DC animated shows, Optimus Prime in Transformers animated shows, the Stabbington brothers in Tangled. Well, you still think he's not evil enough? Next! Killer is another subservient character because you need a bad guy sidekick at all times to be his little bitch boy. Except it's a male dog, not a... Anyway, I think the man for this kind of fast-talking, terrified dog is Bill Hader, because he talks fast for a living, and he actually played Fear in Inside Out. That's a little on the nose. Next, Flo is Charlie's female dog friend. Not a lot went into actually making a relationship happen between them because he was always going to die at the end. But I'd like to see her character develop a little bit more. Maybe sing with Charlie, aka Ryan Gosling, a little. You probably see where this is going. I want Emma Stone. I love La La Land, okay, next! The Whippet Angel. What? Is more of an actual character and a ghostly weird one as well, though she does some singing. So I'm going to make an interesting kind of controversial choice, just because out of the wreckage that is the Cats film, there was one good thing about it, actually, I thought. And that was the lead character, Victoria. I thought Francesca Hayward sang very well, danced very well, acted as well as you can in that. She was a professional ballet dancer, not an actor before that film. But she pulled it off amazingly well, and I would love to see her get a role in a film where she doesn't, you know, look like that. Finally, King Gator is just the best. He's meant to be the terrifying monster that Carface will use to kill Charlie for the second time. But he decides not to and immediately decides to be best friends with Charlie instead. He then saves him multiple times, but it doesn't save him at the end because he dies. So, yeah. Anyway, he sings and he is glorious, and I think Titus Burgess from The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt would be so good at playing him. I found out recently how good a voice that man has, and boy. Also, King Gator is the only person who actually sounds like he's from New Orleans in a film set in New Orleans. And Titus Burgess makes that accent his bitch. God, when you think about it, this film is just the dumbest thing ever, isn't it?